Women represent a large proportion of customers. This Selling for Real title puts you in a position to review the way that you personally approach the subject of selling to women. If necessary, you'll receive tips on the way to modify your approach, thereby becoming a better salesperson. Before you start, get a pen and paper so that you can write down your thoughts on the following 2 questions. You'll be able to compare your list with our top tips at the end of this disc. Question 1. What do you think are the most important issues to a man when buying a car? And question 2. What do you think are the most important issues to a woman when buying a car? When you're happy with your list, click on the Continue button.
Hello and a bumpy welcome to Selling for Real, the hard-hitting, and I mean hard-hitting series of sales training programs designed to make you more effective in real sales situations. This program, if ever I survive to present it, is all about selling to women. Well, we all know that women look at cars very differently to men. They're more interested in cloth and trim and fashion and safety and fuel economy and so forth. And they're not that bothered about performance. Or are they? Well, let's pull over and ask someone who ought to know. My driver. God, I'm too big for this. Now, you may be surprised to find that the person responsible for making my heart beat like a washing machine full of Wellingtons is, in fact, a woman, Helen Gwynn. Now, Helen, how long have you been doing this kind of thing?
A couple of years now.
Is it fun?
It's very good fun.
And how do people react when you tell them what you do?
Mostly are quite surprised. A lot of them are very impressed.
What about men?
Men are very impressed. Some are really helpful, some are not. It just depends, really.
OK, well, thanks very much for the drive.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Now, Helen is obviously an extreme case, but there's a serious point to be made about sales effectiveness here, namely that generalizations, assumptions, preconceptions are dangerous in selling. They tend to alienate and offend customers. Now, by the end of this program, we hope to have looked at a few of the classic problem areas, so you can be sure to avoid them. But the truth is, you can't generalize about car-buying women any more than you can generalize about car-buying men, except to say, of course, that women make up an enormous customer group for the Peugeot marque, of which more are not.
Well, looking at our overall range and the proportion of women that purchase cars in each of the product lines, I would say that with 605, very few women are involved in that car. The audience is predominantly male. As far as the 405 is concerned, probably around about 10% of the cars are run and owned by women. And then as we move down, 309, it's probably about 25% are women. And then on 205, a very, very significant proportion, probably about 50% of the cars are owned and run by women. So an extremely significant number on 205.
And when it comes to the 106, and in particular the three-door petrol hatchback sector of the small car market, we know that at least 60% of purchasers will be women.
Which of the following do you think were true and which were false?
Women have equal purchasing power.
Even if this is not the case, you should behave as if it is correct, as a woman frequently influences the purchaser.
Women aren't interested in technical features.
Some are not. Asking open-ended questions will tell you if this is the case or not.
The husband should take the test drive.
Ask open questions to determine if both husband and wife will be using the car. This should help you gauge if your assumption is correct or misplaced.
Women are more interested in colour and trim than performance.
You're possibly belittling the woman by jumping to this conclusion. Be open-minded. Would you sell to a man on just colour and trim?
The men will pay for the car.
If you're going to make assumptions as to who will be paying, assume the woman will if she's on her own. Let her tell you she's not, rather than assume she can't.
Women only want straightforward facts.
It appears from research that this is true. A jargon-free conversation assists in the sales process.
So, laying aside the question of good manners and Peugeot's image in the marketplace, there are strong commercial reasons for tuning in to what women want when they're in the market for a car. So what would they be? What do real women, real customers, feel about the way our industry treats them? Well, we asked a small group of women aged between 30 and 50, and with experience of a number of car manufacturers, to give Selling for Real their candid views.
I mean, the feeling I get when I walk into many showrooms is like a sort of a clinical feel about it. You can look, but you can't touch. And you don't always, the car doors are usually shut, so they're not actually inviting you. You know, come and try, sit down, you know, see what you think. I mean, I have taken my children into a showroom, but I'd rather go without them, because I just feel as though they definitely don't want the children around.
Well, I think depending on how you're dressed will affect the way the people in the showroom will talk to you, react towards you. I'm usually dressed quite casually, jeans and T-shirt, because I have 2 young children. And when you go in, you feel because you're not dressed up, they won't take you seriously. They probably think you haven't got the finances to buy a car.
Car salesmen make me feel nervous, at a disadvantage. They make me feel stupid. They make me feel unprepared, and they make me very cross. What do you think, Pat?
I have nervous also, and I've got insecure, daft and inferior.
They make me feel stupid and feeble, quite uneasy and very confused afterwards. And then you wish you hadn't gone in the first place. I don't know if you feel like that, Janet.
Yes, I do. They make me feel as if I'm a time waster, that I'm not being serious. I feel very intimidated and sort of bring your husband in, then we'll talk attitude and stupid.
So, if that sample group are anything to go by, many women are approaching what's effectively our point of sale with a mixture of dread and nervousness. Now, no one's saying this dread is reasonable or justified on every occasion, but that's not the point. The point is that all women are potential customers, and you have to deal with the way they actually feel and act, whether you believe they're being reasonable or not. And the crucial question is, does your professional behaviour help the situation or make it worse?
I'd also like to be made a bit more welcome as you walk in the door. And I'd like to be taken seriously financially. I think that's one of their biggest faults, that they think you haven't got any money. I think the only way I'd do it next time is I'd carry a bag full of cash and go in and plug it on the table, and then perhaps they'd take more notice of me.
I usually ask if I can have some of the brochures. And in one instance I did say, oh, are all the details indexed at the back? And he immediately opened up to the upholstery and the painting, the colours section. He said, oh yes, here they are. I said, I mean the other engine details and, you know, miles per gallon, etc. And he said, oh yes, you know.
Funnily enough, I do look under the bonnet of cars. So, I mean, I do try to learn a little bit, and they give you the impression that you don't know anything about cars, and it's like buying a dress, you just want to see how pretty it is.
There's a lot of questions we'd like to ask, but we don't really know the right questions to ask, you know, when it comes to engines and performance and things like this. And I don't think they expect us to ask those sort of questions from the start. You know, they just, really, you're not taken seriously. I think that's what it boils down to. They think you're just window shopping, you know, with no intent to buy. We've got nothing better to do. Oh, let's wander around and look at the cars, you know. I went with a girlfriend to look around at some cars, and the salesman came up, and he's quite a young chap, actually, and he came up to us straight away, got in the middle of us, arms around us both. Hello, girls, and what can I do for you? This sort of thing. Cringe, you know.
When it's reversed, a man wouldn't say anything like that to another man. No. So why should he say it to a woman? There is that big difference again that is annoying. And why should that come into it? What about the person? It's the car you're coming to talk about, not the body of the person, the body of the car, but not the body of the person.
Well, one of the main things was just as I was leaving one of the garages while I was looking at the cars, he'd been quite friendly, this guy, but he spoilt it all by saying, why don't you come back with your husband and you can have a test drive? I could have questioned him further, but it was only as I was getting into my own car I was thinking, why my husband?
It's important to remember the issues which concern women. Select which women expressed the following opinions.
Who felt showrooms seemed clinical and uninviting? No. Try again. No. Try again. Yes, that's right. Who said salesmen made her feel inferior? No. Try again. No. Try again. No. Try again. Yes, that's right. Who felt salesmen thought she was a time waster? No. Try again. Yes, that's right. Who wanted to be taken seriously financially? No. Try again. Yes, that's right. Which woman didn't like the salesman's over-familiarity? No. Try again. Yes, that's right.
Perhaps the most interesting thing about this catalogue of complaints is that many are contradictory. Some women complain that sales staff assume they know nothing. Others complain they're being blinded with science. Some complain the salesman is patronising, others that he's too matey and familiar. In a way, though, these complaints are about the same thing, the point we were making back in the rally car about the danger of generalisations. Women are people first and women second. And people need to be treated with respect, to have their needs identified, and only then does said people need selling to. To help illustrate the issue, we've put together a few short sequences using actors. So, take one. As we've seen, many women see a visit to a car dealership as something of a voyage into foreign territory. Specifically, they complain of an unwelcome feel and a lack of hospitality. If that's the problem, here's just one solution.
Okay. Oh, hang on a minute, Annie. I won't keep you a moment.
No problem.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so delivery on Friday. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, great. Okay, well, I gotta go now, Annie. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a customer. Yeah. Yeah, fine. Right, bye. I'm sorry about that. How can I help you?
Well, I hope you can. My neighbour has a small Peugeot, and we were quite impressed with it, but we were also wondering whether it would be big enough for us, so I was just looking to see if there was something similar, but bigger. To tell the truth, it's early days yet, but I do know we need to change the car pretty soon. So I was just looking at other possible cars.
Well, we obviously got quite a number of cars that fit the bill. But before we get down to specifics, how about a cup of coffee?
Oh, thank you.
If you'd like to sit over here. Milk and sugar?
Just milk, thank you.
Right.
the fuel consumption.
Tony, the salesman in this reconstruction, knows that Margaret, our customer, is nervous. He knows the best cure for this is not to rush her, but to give her time to relax. He accepts that he, whether he intends to or not, may well appear threatening to her.
That's really the one I want. I mean, I don't know much about the ins and outs of engines, but I have got a pretty good idea of the sort of performance we're looking for, and what with a caravan and that.
There's evidence to suggest that some salesmen enjoy this feeling of superiority and make matters worse by spouting expert jargon at the first possible opportunity, as part of an I know far more than you showing off routine. This is, of course, counterproductive. Margaret is far more likely to buy from Tony if he makes her less nervous and threatens her less.
How big is the caravan?
I don't really know. It's a reasonable size. It's 4 berth, but not giant. Right. I mean, we used to have an Escort, but it was really too much for it.
Tony makes a conscious effort to put her at her ease. The coffee was a deliberate tactic, simple but effective. He also makes a point of not interrupting, of letting her explain why she's here and what she wants before leaping in with a suggested vehicle. This is not only polite and respectful of her as a person, it also helps him qualify her better, so that he can offer what so many women have asked for in research: straightforward, jargon-free advice, rather than the hard, I'm an expert kind of sell.
You've just seen the salesman do a number of key things to put the customer at ease and avoid being threatening. But what were they? Select all your choices, then click on the Done button. No, let's look at the answers you should have selected. First, he acknowledged her when she entered the showroom, and he moved out from behind his desk. He sat her down and put her at ease by offering her coffee. As she spoke, he listened without interrupting, and when it was his turn to speak, he avoided using complicated jargon.
Now, of course, not all women are so apprehensive as Margaret. Often the problem is reversed. Increasingly, women are used to taking a pretty assertive role at work and at home, and a visit to your dealership is no different. So you'll have to be prepared to deal with such assertiveness in your day-to-day job. In your showroom, as customers, such women understandably expect to be treated with the same respect that a man would get in a similar situation. Now, our second reconstruction looks at a classic area of complaint, the "what happens when I bring my husband with me" scenario. To sell effectively to one person, you have to get an idea of the way they think as an individual. Selling to a couple is far more complex. You'll need to get a good idea of the way they relate to one another, so that you can tune in to that relationship. Many women complain that this doesn't happen at car dealerships, that sales staff make chauvinist assumptions about roles, finance and equality generally. The best antidote to this complaint is to impose your own personality as little as possible. In the early stages, listen, let the couple talk to each other and watch the way they work together.
So this is the 1.6?
Yes, that's right.
Well, this is certainly one of our possibilities.
And who will be the main user of the car, Mrs. Price? You or...
Oh, yes, me mostly.
Almost entirely.
Oh, yes, almost entirely, come to think of it. Tom hates driving.
I don't hate it.
Well, loathe it then.
I just do enough of it at work. So is this car mainly for private use?
Oh, no. I'd use it for business, mainly. We'd buy it through our company.
Oh, so you're in business together?
Oh, good heavens, no.
No.
No, sorry. A friend and I, we run a fabric shop.
Oh.
Just a snip?
Oh, yes, I know it.
Next to the NatWest.
Yes, the blue and yellow awning.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, how does this work?
By giving the couple breathing space and by not making assumptions about them, our salesman has a better idea of who they really are and how their relationship works.
It's simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
And once you start presenting a car, it can be dangerous to assume that the man is more mechanically minded or more interested in performance than the woman is.
And the performance is pretty impressive too.
What about acceleration?
Well, that's good. The 0 to 62 time is just over 9 seconds. 9.1, in fact.
9.1?
How does that compare then?
Well, it's certainly no faster.
The Golf does what?
8.3?
So performance and acceleration in particular are important to you. You want a fast car.
Absolutely.
Then perhaps you'd like to look at the 1.9 version of this, the 205, or perhaps even the 309 GTI, which is closer to the Golf in both size and performance.
Splendid.
Research shows that sales staff often underestimate women's earnings and therefore also underestimate their spending power, hence a common failure to sell up to female prospects. In other words, if a woman asks to see a 205, she's sold a 205 and is rarely tempted with an alternative that might suit her better. But whether selling up occurs or not, there's another key danger lurking as you close the sale.
So you like it?
It's ideal. And roomy, too.
They do the tow bars here, too. Oh, hello there.
Hello again, Mrs. Ferris. And you must be Mr. Ferris.
Yes.
Pleased to meet you. Hello.
Well, the more we see it, the more we like it.
Good. Shall we sit down?
Many women complain that it's assumed their husband makes the final decision. The fact is that this is as likely to be true as it is to be false. The only solution for a sales professional is a direct, unembarrassed question directed at both parties.
So, who's going to sign the order form?
Shall I?
Go on, you do it. You've done all the work.
Right. There.
Okay. Thank you.
Too late now.
When selling to a couple, beware. Don't naturally assume the husband is the decision maker. Listen to how they react to each other. If you do have assumptions, then use test questions to either confirm or discredit them. Be prepared to change. For example, who will be doing most of the driving? Is the car for business or pleasure use? See who answers and what they say. Ask them to sit in the car. Who takes the driver's side? How would you find out who the decision maker will be? Remember, even when you know who the decision maker is, don't ignore their partner, as they can still sway a decision.
We began this programme by playing on your assumptions. Many of you will have assumed that I was being driven around, if that's the right word for this kind of torture, by a man. And I can't say I blame you. I'm still surprised by female bus drivers and female airline pilots. And though I've never met one, I know I'd be surprised by a female hod carrier. Now, the thing is, such assumptions don't usually matter that much, unless you're a salesperson. And then they matter a hell of a lot, because every time you make an assumption about someone that turns out to be wrong, you run the risk of offending that person. And you don't need to be Freud to work out that an offended person doesn't exactly make it a hot sales prospect. Worse, they could tell their friends, and before you know it, a whole load of potential customers are prejudiced against you, even before they set foot in the showroom. Now, that's not the way it should be. So before we close, I'll leave you with a little bit of food for thought. Thanks for watching.
The important thing is for them to make it obvious that they're showing an interest in you.
And I like to be taken seriously financially.
It's the atmosphere as you go in. You just want to feel relaxed, and it's the way the person talks to you.
And I think where children are welcome, that a female or a mother knows that she's welcome as well. What we got talking is to actually be taken seriously, that I do want to buy a car.
I'd like them to think that, treat me with some intelligence.
Well, I would say teach the reps to not treat the women any different to the men.
Refer back to your notes. Tick off your ideas as they appear on screen. Remember, you don't have to be word-for-word perfect, but be honest with yourself. If you covered the 20 tips we have, then well done. If you have more, then even better. However, if you think you've struggled, perhaps you should revise your list as to what issues are important to men and women when buying a car.
If a woman walks into a showroom alone, always approach her very quickly and try to put her at her ease, as she will be quite nervous. If they come in with children, then always talk to the children and take them over to the Lego set in the corner of the showroom. It's worth giving time to the kids. ask the children what they think of the car. A cup of coffee is particularly appreciated by women. It really is a must. Make them feel that you are really interested in them as people. Be yourself and help to relax them by talking about common interests with a laugh or two. Always give plenty of time, particularly to women. Listen to their questions in an empathetic way. When a couple are buying a car for the woman, sell to them both, but lean towards the woman. Then leave them for a while to talk about it. Again, they don't like to be rushed. Don't assume women are only interested in small cars. Many buy larger cars. In any case, always take all customers very seriously. Be very careful not to patronize women. Don't expect that they don't want to look at the engine, even if they don't understand it. Take time to present the car thoroughly, particularly with women. They are used to this and are prepared to take time to understand the car properly. Actively encourage the customer to ask questions and make it clear that you are there to help. Talk practical points, but not technical points. Don't use jargon. Always give a really long test drive. Always ask them if they would like to go somewhere specific on a test drive. For example, a motorway, if they do lots of motorway driving. Show them how the car will do exactly what they want. Concentrate on benefits. Take time with them during the appraisal of their used car. Under no circumstances, knock their car. Never push them. Women tend to be more sensitive to pressure than men. Whenever possible, introduce them to your sales manager. Dress conservatively. Wear neutral clothing that doesn't offend. Follow-up after the sale is vital and particularly appreciated by women who are nervous about dealing with the service reception directly. Hang around the service reception area quite a lot. Make contact with your customers that way. If there is a problem, it's often better they talk to you rather than in front of other customers at the reception desk.
That's all for this disc. However, should you wish to review the top 20 tips again, click on the replay button.